There was once a house near a big dark forest where a little girl called Wassilissa lived with her cruel stepmother and stepsisters. They made her do all the work while they painted their faces and admired themselves. Their father was away, and her only friend was the doll her real mother had given her with her blessing before she died. One day, the fire went out. Her stepmother was very angry. "Now look what you've done. You'll have to go into the wood and fetch fire from the Baba-Yaga." And she pushed her out of the door and slammed it. Wassilissa walked for hours through the black wood, and just as Venus touched the horizon, she came to a path. The birds began to sing, and through the trees a man dressed in white rode past her on a beautiful white stallion. And the day came. Then the path became a wide track. She heard the sound of hooves again, and through a cloud of dust appeared a chariot drawn by winged horses. As it flew past, she saw in it a man dressed in gold, who looked straight ahead and would not see her. The sun rose. She journeyed on all that day until twilight, when she could make out in the distance a twinkling of lights, which became a cottage surrounded by a fence of little lights. As she got closer, she saw that each fence post was a bone, topped by a grinning skull, whose eyes glowed like dark coals. There was a rush of wind, and a great black warrior on a black horse, carrying a silver scythe, rushed by with hardly a sound, galloping straight into the cottage, and disappeared. Wassilissa crept closer to the house. She could see now the gate latch made of a human arm, and the lock that was a grinning mouth full of teeth. She was just about to run away when she heard another sound, and round the corner slithered a mortar, steered by a woman with 6 arms. She was brushing away her tracks at the same time with a broom made of cats.
So you come at last. Well, you shall have your fire, but you must work for it. Come in and serve me.
Wassilissa followed her in.
Bring me everything in the oven.
And she ate it all, leaving only some dry bread and water for Wassilissa.
Tomorrow you must clean the house, sort the good seed from the bag in these 4 bushels, and cook me dinner by the time I come back, or I'll eat you.
Then she went upstairs. Wassilissa couldn't sleep for fear until the doll whispered in her ear, "The morning is cleverer than the evening. Go to sleep." When she woke up, the doll had just finished sorting the last of the grain. So Wassilissa hurriedly cooked dinner and had just finished when the Baba-Yaga returned. She was so angry when she found the house spotless, the corn sorted and the dinner on the table. But she said nothing, just clapped her hands, and 3 pairs of bodiless hands appeared, took the good seed and started grinding it into flour. Wassilissa couldn't look away.
What are you staring at? Why don't you say something?
Who were those riders I passed in the forest?
The white's the day, the gold's the sun, and the black's the night, of course.
Where do you go when you leave the house?
Be careful what you ask about other people's business. Too much knowledge will make you old.
Wassilissa wanted to ask about the hands, but dared not, and so the Baba-Yaga said,
Very well, it's my turn. How did you manage to finish all the work in time?
Oh, it was with my mother's blessing.
I don't want blessings in my house. Tomorrow you will have to do all you did today again and sort out these 3 sacks of poppy seed.
Next day, as the doll was finishing the work, Wassilissa was seized by a terrible curiosity to explore. So she went upstairs and, opening a huge iron door, found herself in the middle of a beautiful room full of strange things. In front of her was a mirror, and as she approached it, she saw the reflections of a faraway town. In the foreground stood an old man talking to an old woman dressed in rags. As Wassilissa leant forward to try to hear the conversation, the man looked straight at her. His face was so sad, she took a moment to realize it was her father, and she had to turn away. Then she noticed an enormous copper-bound book on a table. She tried to open it, but it was locked. Beside it was a little golden key. It was very heavy, but with a great effort she managed to unlock the book and had to clasp her ears. The book shut. She backed away, only to bump into a pedestal on which was fixed a beautiful crystal. As she gazed into the multicolored depths, a smoke swirled there, and she began to see landscapes from a great height. And looking down, she saw a forest, and in the forest was a little cottage. And going in through the door was the Baba-Yaga, and she was going up the stairs. And then she was opening the large iron door.